He had a new show out. We were doing some stuff. He was one of the greatest broadcasters of all times. He got started after he left the Navy in 1955. He got started at an LA TV station parking cars. Eventually, he was a stagehand. He worked as a sports producer until the sports guy didn't show up one day, and Regis was ready to fill in, Ainsley.
Here he is with us over the years.
If you want something in life, you've got to go for it.
Yeah.
You've got to go for it. And you've got to tell people, and it's there for your taking. But you're the one that has to.
When something big would happen, I always wanted to see how Regis would handle it.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Well, how did I handle it? Was it different than anyone else?
You talked about it rather than just say a few lines. It was 1984. I'm in college. You said you've never forgotten this moment.
No, you're absolutely not. It's coming all back to me.
Right.
I would grow a beard about 10 days.
It's impossible right now.
10, yeah?
Why is that, Brian? The facial growth is behind what we like it to be right now.
It means a lot. Right in here, if you have to know, big boy.
Next to
Fox News has to know. See a few hairs up there that we can pull out.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Sports Edition.
Really?
Yes.
Exciting.
How many football championships has St. Mary's won?
I can use you. What is this? All right, let's talk about it.
2, 3,
I would
0.
say 3.
See? All right, 3.
The correct answer is 0.
Thanks a lot.
You let him straight.
This is so much fun being one of the Fox friends.
He's firing his agent now. Who put him on this show?
Yeah, I just think he may be the best, most successful person ever as a host because he was himself. You know, you hear these stories about Carson was a totally different person off camera than on camera, and other people. Regis Philbin was Regis Philbin from day one, and his conversations, the stuff that he learned in the Bronx, sitting around the table with his big family, he says he was able to put that into practice after serving in the military, and he never looked back. He just kept working. Every opportunity he had, he took that job and kept moving forward, kept trying to grow. And I thought the other thing that was pretty evident that I saw, he was as kind to people coming up as he was to people who were the superstars in the business. Everybody knew him.
You know what? And Brian, to that point, Regis was out in Dallas, and he crossed trails with my first cousin, Mike Ducey, who is the voice of the Dallas Cowboys. He's the main sports anchor at Fox 4 in Dallas. And he tweeted this out yesterday. He said, I met Regis years ago at a fundraiser with Roger Staubach. Our station aired his show, and the next day he went on and on about meeting Steve Ducey at Roger Staubach's house. He later sent me this totally unnecessary apology. What a broadcaster, what an amazing career. And what he wrote there, it says to Mike, sorry about that Steve thing. You're my favorite Ducey. Best. Regis. How great is that?
He was so funny. And I love Kathy Lee. I'm friends with Kathy Lee, and I was texting with her just telling her I'm thinking about her, and I read what she put on Instagram. She said, a long paragraph, but I'll read a little bit of it. She said she smiles knowing that he's making someone laugh up in heaven at this very moment. She said will never be anyone like him. They worked together for 15 years, and they were always on in all of our homes. He was just so adored, talented, charming. His expressions were so funny. I remember when kids would come on set, I knew it was going to be hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Such an entertainer.
Because he was a great listener. It was always about the guest. It wasn't about him. I was able to interject and move things along, make everyone feel important. I remember when I was in college, they said, hey, you guys got to go watch a live show. Everyone chose the morning show. They opened it up. And then I got picked out of the audience. That was that clip in there, and I went down, interacted with him, interviewed him for a radio show I was doing since my college is just outside New York City. He gave me like the best 40-minute interview that I ever had.
He just plucked you out of the crowd?
Yeah.
You were 20?
Yeah, I was right in college. I was a sophomore in college. And then I was able to keep in touch with him over the years. Afterwards, he would shake everybody's hand at that point when the morning show became a national show. And keep in mind, now Kelly and Ryan Seacrest, they're doing great. But they get a fraction of the audience that Regis got because everything was about the networks back then. Cable was relatively new. So he was getting like 10, 20 people watching him every day. Not only did he have a unique name and unique talent, but the whole world would just zero in on that show with Kathy Lee and then Kelly Ripa. So he was famous beyond famous. And Chet Collier was one of the people that gave him one of his huge breaks. Chet Collier was one of the architects along with Roger Ailes, who mentored Roger Ailes, that started Fox News. So there was a direct link, and you heard all those stories about how hard he worked and what he did to become maybe the best that ever was.
Two things, Brian. One, your son looks so much like you. Just saying. Brian.
Really?
Philbin, spelled differently. Absolutely. And two, that was the easiest show in the world to direct as a director, because you would just hit camera one and then you would leave for 20 minutes because they would stay on that one shot for 20 minutes because it was all about the talk.
Right. A devout Catholic. He will have his funeral at Notre Dame.
He will indeed. Regis Philbin, rest in peace.
You will be missed. Well, we talked about this earlier. The next COVID-19 relief package set to be unveiled on Capitol Hill today.